Hogwarts Legacy fans, it finally happened, you guys. We actually have some legitimate new pieces of artwork for the game to discuss. Information has been at an absolute trickle on this game. We've been left to speculating. We've been left to digging for any little piece of information we can. And while I admit this is not a lot, it is certainly more than we've gotten in a while. There's actually 4 new pieces of artwork that we're going to talk about here in today's video. People of the internet, RetroRaconteur here. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm just a dad who loves games and the stories they tell. We post videos every week here on YouTube, and if you're looking for more Hogwarts Legacy news, theories, and discussion, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. As I mentioned in the opening, today we are talking about 4 new pieces of concept art from an official source, you guys. This is actually legitimately straight from the WarnerMedia CEO. He goes by the name of Jason Kilar, at Jason Kilar on Twitter. And here's what he says in this tweet, guys. Great day in Salt Lake City, spending time with the creators and builders of the upcoming game Hogwarts Legacy. Concept art on the walls of the studio will stop you in your tracks. It certainly did for me. Very happy to get to be on this team, telling stories in new ways. Now, I want to caution you guys just a little bit here. This is concept art, so that means it's conceptual. It may not make it into the final game looking exactly as it does here in the artwork. I'm sure you've seen this with games before, where you have a piece of concept art, and in the final game, it looks slightly different. But that being said, I think it does give us an indication as to the overall art style they're going for the game and a few more creatures that we can expect to see. So let's dive right into the first one here, which is the picture of a baby dragon. This is just gorgeous. I would guess, I want to hear what kind of dragon you guys think this is. I think it is a young Swedish short snout. Definitely has that silvery blue look and also has the horns on the top and then kind of on the sides as well. And then I'm not really sure what's going on down there in kind of the neck area. I don't know if that's blood or if they're going for kind of this iridescent look there. Now, what I think is very interesting about this one is that we're seeing a young dragon here. We see the huge dragon in the trailer, but this leads me to believe that, hey, we're going to be getting more than one kind of dragon and also maybe different age dragons, which is absolutely amazing. Now, if you're a regular here on the channel, you guys already know that I think magical creatures are going to play an absolutely huge role in Hogwarts Legacy. I think they're going to be a key part of the storyline, and seeing these images in the concept art certainly reinforces that for me. I mean, if you just start to think about all the different possible gameplay scenarios that we could see around a young dragon, I mean, maybe it's similar to what happened with Harry, Ron, and Hermione in the Sorcerer's Stone with Norbert. Or maybe we come into contact with this baby dragon, then have to face off against an even bigger dragon if we don't treat this dragon the right way. We know we're going to have choices here in this game. You don't want to go making Mama Dragon angry. But absolutely love this look of the dragon here. I think it's a glorious piece of concept art. The next one, not too much going on here. We see the Gryffindor house crest, and then to the right, that's kind of faded, we can see Slytherin and then also Hufflepuff. And we also see some names that are written on the chart there. I don't know if these are names of people who work at Avalanche, and maybe they wrote down their names for which house they're in. Maybe if some of you know and recognize those names, you could let me know. Or if these are actual characters that are going to be in-game. I don't think they're characters because it looks like they're all written in different handwriting, so I think these are likely people that work at Avalanche and then kind of going up to the board and writing which house they're in. Now, the appearance of the house crests here certainly isn't new. This has been featured in a number of places. I think the first place it appeared was on Pottermore, but you can tell it is almost exactly the same style of crest there. Now, the next one, this is the one by far that people have been talking about the most here. First of all, let's just talk about the mood right here. The mood that is set when you take a look at this concept art, the glorious lake in the background on this nice warm day, and then an adult Grabhorn and a baby Grabhorn here in this little pin together. I mean, I know this is way before Hagrid's time, but I'm getting some Hagrid's hut vibes here. Like I could see Hagrid walking out and kind of tending to the Grabhorns here. But again, this for me goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the dragon and the other video that I made, the theory that I have about how big magical creatures are going to be in this game. And one thing that is super encouraging, the fact that we see different magical creatures with their young, I think they're really trying to create this living, breathing world. It's not like we just see this generic Grabhorn every time you go over here, but no, you're going to see a Grabhorn that is a family. And I think they're going to interact with us in different ways depending on how we go about the world, how we treat the other characters, how we treat the magical creatures in this world. Overall, I think more than anything with this picture is just the mood that it sets. This just sets an absolute wonderful mood for, I mean, just imagine exploring these grounds right here and being able to kind of walk up to the pen of the Grabhorn. Although I really hope we don't have any Twilight Princess style goat herding missions. Now, we're going to come back to this piece of artwork here in a minute because there's something on this screen. You guys may have caught it already that we didn't talk about, but we're going to come back to it. Don't worry. The fourth image that is shared, though, is one of a garden gnome, and it says Killer Potato Edition. So garden gnomes certainly played a role in the old Harry Potter games. If you remember in the Chamber of Secrets game, you go to the Weasleys and you can de-gnome the garden and chuck them over the fence. Now the thing about those gnomes is they are all a generic standard gnome. They all look the same. But here, again, going back to this idea that it's going to be a living, breathing world. You're not going to get the same generic garden gnome every time. You're going to see various types of garden gnomes in the game. And I don't know about you guys, but this garden gnome is not a gnome that I would want to mess with at all. He looks pretty terrifying. Look at those teeth, man. So I said we'd come back to the other picture, and so we will. Here we are again on the Grabhorn piece, but take your attention off the Grabhorn photo for a second and look at the bottom left corner of the screen. We see what looks like a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin here in kind of the bottom left, and then the text right here, M seasonal fall, and then turn around. So when it says turn around there, I think what we're seeing on the left side of the image is maybe just like the back side of what's on the right. I'm not 100% sure about that, but what is most interesting to me about this is that M seasonal fall. I really don't know what the M would stand for, but the fact that it says seasonal fall gets me super hyped. You guys know we did a video on features we need in Hogwarts Legacy. One of the things I keep seeing from fans, and one of the things that I personally really hope is in the game, is different seasons. And to me, I don't know if we can outright say this is confirmed because it's, again, concept art. You got to remember that. But clearly at some point in the development of this game, they wanted seasons to play a role. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. I think it's almost guaranteed to happen. And to see this on the concept art just gets me even more hyped. Now, which piece of concept art do you guys enjoy the most? What is it that stands out about them? Let me know down in the comments. I know you guys are going to be super excited to talk about this. Now, if you're new here, maybe you haven't seen our other Hogwarts Legacy videos, I'll throw up that playlist on the right side of your screen. And if you're in the mood for some old school Harry Potter Let's Plays, I'll put those up here on the left side of the screen. As always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.